guys, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to sit down with you guys today and do a life update video. I haven't done one in a while, and I really haven't done many sit down videos in a while because life has been kind of crazy. Some of the reasons why I'll be explaining in today's video, but there's been quite a few things that have happened or changed. Just some things that I wanted to kind of let you know what was going on, so I figured now is the perfect time to sit down and do a life update video. One thing I do want to mention, and I haven't, this actually was not something I planned on talking about, but I'm having a really hard time keeping up with comments, more particularly on my YouTube channel. On Instagram, I try to get back to everybody, and sometimes I'm a little late with that, but especially on YouTube, I'm having a hard time keeping up with them. And just because I may not respond doesn't mean that I don't read them. I read them all, and I really appreciate anybody that comments, and I love hearing from you guys. It's just one of those things that once you get behind, you never really can catch up because new ones are constantly coming through. And usually it comes down to, if I sit down and go back and try to catch up with comments, that means that I'm neglecting something else, whether that be school with my girls or something around the house or making new videos for you guys. And so I figure it's better for me to keep making content for you guys when I can than it is to take that time and instead of making videos, answering comments. That's my opinion. You guys let me know if I'm wrong, but I am doing my best. And usually if I get behind and I want to go back and answer, but I don't have time, what I usually do is go through and heart them. And I still haven't done that for my kitchen reveal video, which I do want to go back and do that. But it's been kind of crazy, been kind of hectic around here, and I just want to explain to you guys, if you've left me a comment I don't answer, I don't mean to ignore you. It doesn't mean I didn't read it. It just means that I just have not had the time. There's really only so many hours in a day, and something has to give when I do something else. You guys know how that is. So I hope you understand that if I'm not answering you, it's not because I don't want to talk to you or I don't like hearing from you. It's just because it's just been crazy busy. Okay, so anyway, now that that's out of the way, touching on quite a few different topics, starting off with homeschooling. It started out pretty rough this year, and I talked about that in a previous video about we were doing a kitchen slash office homeschool room remodel that took about 3 months and was supposed to be done the week after we started our new school year. And it ended up going on another like 2.5 months or 2 months. So it was rough the first few weeks, especially because we didn't have the office or homeschool room or even a kitchen table to do school in. So that got to be a little bit of a problem, but since the kitchen has been finished, we are now in a place where we're able to have a normal school year for the most part. And one thing that's been really fun is we've done a lot of unplanned unit studies. And normally I don't do a lot of unit studies. We typically follow our curriculum pretty well and don't deviate from it too much. But there was quite a few things that came up recently that were just too good of an opportunity to pass up as far as unit studies go. One of them obviously was the election. That was something I probably should have planned on doing beforehand, but it just didn't occur to me until after the school year started, and I was like, oh, we should do a unit study on the election, which we did. It was really fun, really educational for me as well, and it was really fun slash nerve-wracking watching the results come in on election night. Even though we didn't get an answer on election night, it was really interesting, especially for my youngest, because I printed out an electoral map for her, and as each person's votes would come in, she would color the state red or blue. So it was really, really a good experience for her. Also, we studied a little bit about the Star-Spangled Banner. We did a unit study about snails. The girls both got pet snails, so we did a unit study about that. And then also genealogy, because on Prime Day, Ancestry DNA had their DNA kits half price. So me and my husband and both girls all sent off for a DNA test. That's gonna be really interesting to see as the results come back, you know, what our genes are, or what our genealogy is, and then also tying that into a unit study. So all of those things have come up, and we've done unit studies for, and it's actually been really fun and something that we've all really enjoyed. Second thing is dual credit is going really well with my oldest. I'm actually going to be doing a separate video about our dual credit experience. Basically, dual credit is when you have a high schooler that takes college classes in high school that count for high school, but then also count for college. In a nutshell though, it was overwhelming for me and a little unnerving to realize that this is the first time since we started homeschooling her that I don't have any say-so or control over what she's doing. And in a way, that's actually a good thing. And so far, it's been a good experience for her. I am gonna be doing a dedicated video about that. So if you're interested in dual credit and taking college classes in high school, stay tuned for that. Speaking of my oldest daughter, we actually have learned here in the last month or so that she apparently has a dairy allergy. We don't know how long that's been going on because it wasn't a severe dairy allergy. It was just something that made her uncomfortable. And then we realized, okay, well, when she doesn't have dairy, she doesn't feel that way. So it's been a process of finding out, is it dairy? Is it just lactose? And then what alternatives we can find for her that are dairy-free. So of course, you guys know with any health thing like that, it's a journey to find, first of all, what you need to be eating or not eating, and then also good alternatives to conventional cheese or milk or ice cream or whatever. So that's been a process, but something we've been working through and learning a lot about in the last month or so. The biggest thing that has happened in our home, and actually I talked about this in my video I did in January about like our 2020 goals and intentions. This was going to be the year of home projects, and I had no idea even then how many home projects we were going to be doing, because I had no idea at the time that quarantine was coming and we were going to have nothing but time to do these projects. So we have done so many home projects over the last 11 months that it's insane. We added storage under the stairs, which we call Narnia. We had a living room closet that goes under the stairs, and then there was 2 flights of stairs. The other flight was like blocked off. So we opened that up, and I've got videos on all these, so I'll link them. We opened up that other flight of stairs and made that to extra storage. So we called that Narnia. We completely reorganized our garage, which has been a disaster since we moved in 13 years ago. Did a video about that. We redid the playroom and made it more of a multi-purpose room for the treadmill, my husband's gaming, the girls' overflow toys, my oldest daughter's desk. So we have a video about that. Repainted our bathroom. We did a complete remodel of our kitchen and office, which the kitchen video is up. The office video is not up, and honestly, it's probably not going to be up until next year just because it's the holidays right now and I'm not like currently working on that just because we're trying to focus on other things, and it's not really top priority. It's usable, it's fine, it's just not decorated. It's organized and everything though, but that video will be coming probably next year. But we did finish the kitchen. It was a very dark builder grade kitchen that we redid and made it bright, modern farmhouse. So if you want to see that, I'll link that for you below as well. Those were all big things that we've done in the last 11 months. We are also currently in the process of redoing our half bath downstairs and the girls' shared bathroom. And I will do videos about those. We're having a delay because of some things I'll talk about in a minute that have caused a delay. Both of those projects were supposed to be fairly quick and easy, but they have turned into not being quick and easy. And we're probably not gonna get them finished. I don't know if we'll get them finished this year, but definitely probably not in November. I don't know, we'll see how that goes. So as for my YouTube channel, seems like it's been about 6 months ago, I started doing one video per week, which is consistently less than I normally would upload. Normally I would upload between at least 1, if not 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 videos a week. I pulled back on that for several reasons. One reason is our girls do not have a homeschool co-op this year, and that was a big source of work time for me because that gave me 12 hours a month, 3 hours dedicated every week that I was able to work consistently and exclusively on YouTube videos, working with brands. Answering comments is another reason why I'm behind on comments. Editing and filming and making notes for videos and all that stuff, I would block out for those 3 hours a week. I don't have that anymore. So that, combined with all the home projects that we've had going on and just life in general, I realized that 1 video per week for me is really, even that sometimes is hard, but it's a lot more doable for me than anything more than that is. I do always post on Instagram before I upload a new video, so make sure you're following me on Instagram. It's aplacetonest Becky over there. That way you'll know, just in case for some reason YouTube, if they don't notify you, or you don't have YouTube notifications turned on, at least you'll know if you follow me on Instagram that I'm gonna be posting a video the next day. I don't know how long I'm going to stick with once a week, and there may be some weeks where I have 2, or like my gift guide videos are coming up and that's gonna be 4 in 1 week. That's not typical, but for me right now, with my stage of life, with my priorities being other places, once a week is what I plan on sticking with for the foreseeable future. But you know, if there is ever more than 1 video a week, then that's just a bonus. I just want to say that sometimes there are times in life or things that happen that you realize like you've got to let something go. Something has to give. And in this case, it happened to be YouTube. Even though I love it and I really appreciate you guys and I enjoy my YouTube channel family and all of you guys and reading your comments, and I love the thrill of putting up a video and then waiting to see, you know, what you guys are gonna think. I love that. But I just got to the point where I was trying to do too many things and I had to back off a little bit. So I'm still here for you guys, still uploading, and I still have over like, what, 600 videos on my channel, so you can always go back and watch ones maybe you haven't seen or watch some favorite ones again. But what I'm just gonna say is consistently, I'm doing my best to do one a week. If there's more than that, that's great. If not though, I am gonna be sticking to the once per week schedule for the foreseeable future. Also in the last few months, my husband started a new job. The same field, but with a new company. And it's so far been a huge blessing for us. And it's funny because he had been wanting to leave his old job before, and there just were not any opportunities, no openings, and then something literally just fell in his lap like within a week, and he was working there the next week. So I love when things like that happen, because it was actually, I'd written in my prayer journal back in March that I was praying for him to either have more success where he was or to find somewhere else to go. And between March and October, that had already happened. So I love when that happens and you can look back and say, oh my goodness, remember when I was praying for this? And here it is. So far so good. Things are going really well, and that has been a huge blessing for us. Speaking of my husband, two big things in his world. Number one is he actually got a vasectomy, and I asked him if it was okay if I said this, and he didn't care, and I don't care. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna go into graphic detail, but I'm 40, he's 38, and we were not planning on having any more kids. And actually, given some of my health issues, I knew even if I wanted to, it probably wasn't a good idea. I knew, given our lifestyle right now, with my youngest being 10, if I had another one, that would make them very far apart. My youngest is 10, my oldest is 16. I felt like that would be a very large gap. And of course, if God were to bless us with one, then obviously it would be meant to be. But I just really, I didn't want to take that chance, because I personally am not physically at the point where I feel like I should have another one. And I am 40, so you know, I mean, the older you are, the more high risk you are, and I already tend to have kind of higher risk pregnancies anyway. So it just seemed like the easiest way to prevent pregnancy, and so that's what we did. So he had a vasectomy. Also, we just found out a couple days ago that he has COVID. His boss at work had it, some other people at his work had it, and he came home one day and said, oh, you know, so-and-so has it. And I'm like, you know, because you hear about it for so long, and the media builds it up for so long of this terrible, toxic, you know, just killing everybody. And it does, unfortunately, and has killed a lot. But you tend to think that hearing that is an automatic death sentence, and it's definitely not. He's not feeling good for sure, and he's obviously been quarantined. He's still in quarantine right now as I'm filming this. But, you know, you know, working with the public as he does, more than likely it's probably gonna happen. And even though they were wearing masks and doing all the things they're supposed to do, it can still happen. So that's been a challenge, trying to keep everybody healthy that's already healthy, trying to keep the house cleaner than normal, trying to keep him away from everybody. You know, all that stuff has definitely been a challenge. On top of trying to homeschool and other stuff that's been going on, you know, it's just been a lot. But it happens. And at least, if nothing else, I think they say you're immune for a few months after you've had it. So at least if that's the case, he shouldn't have to worry about getting it again, you know, for a few months. I had all my notes typed up that we were actually planning on going back to in-person church services a couple weeks ago. Well, that's around the time my husband had his vasectomy, and he didn't feel like going to church and, you know, being in that on the hard chairs. So we were waiting a few weeks for him to feel better. Right around the time that he started to feel better and we were going to go on that next Sunday is when he got COVID. So now we can't go again for another few weeks. So we are going to be going back to in-person services as soon as possible. Now, I talked about this in my quarantine update way back in the spring. We were really enjoying doing the home church, like watching our church live at home. And I think that's still a great option for people who can't get to church, or if you're sick or something like that. But I did mention in that video, I was like, oh, I'm really loving at-home church. It's been really relaxing and more private and all that stuff. And I mentioned that I have been thinking about, like, do we ever really plan on going back to in-person services? Over the last few months of doing at-home church, I realized that it was getting really too convenient for us and too easy for us to push it back farther in the day, or sometimes not at all, because it was online and you were like, well, I'll just watch it later. You know, there were a lot more distractions between phone calls and pets, and even I fell asleep a few times, and I'm hoping nobody knows, but they may, I don't know. We were starting to let the busyness of the day push church farther and farther and farther down the line of things to do. And I really started to realize that that's not what we're supposed to be doing. So even though it's convenient, sometimes convenience can lead to bad habits, and that bad habit had started to become too many people not paying attention, people falling asleep like me, or just trying to fit church in whenever it was convenient for us versus making the effort to get ready and go to in-person services. So like I said, as soon as everybody is healthy and able to go, we are going to be going to in-person services, just because I think it's a more conscious and dedicated way to prioritize God and keep us accountable as a family, which we were not doing very well with when we were doing it at home. And the last two kind of orders of business that I wanted to share with you guys is we did cancel our Disney trip. If you guys watched my video, which I've gotten so much flack over about whether or not we were ever going back to Disney, I got a lot of hate for that video because the thumbnail said never going back. And people were mad because they said, well, you obviously plan on going back because number one, you know more than likely a mask mandate will not always be required. I don't know that. And they also said, two, saying never going back is leading people to believe that I'm never going back, not I'm never going back until masks aren't required, which is basically what I was trying to say. It never occurred to me when I made that thumbnail that people would think I was deliberately trying to deceive them. I mean, I obviously don't have room in a thumbnail to write, never going back to Disney until they get rid of the mask mandate. Like, I didn't think about that and how that would make people so livid, but it did. But regardless, I talked about that in that video about as long as masks are required at Disney World, we are not going to go. I said that and I stand behind that and I mean that and I still think that. But that being said, we did have 2 trips planned in case the mask mandate was lifted. We had one in September, which obviously has come and gone, and we canceled that one because the mask mandate was still in effect. Well, then we had one at the end of November and the first week of December, and I had to go through all the motions. I had to, you know, do the park reservations. I got online, did the dining reservations. I did all that stuff. I spent one day in particular, I was on hold for 3 hours with Disney trying to change around some dates and stuff just in case we got to go. Well, it's gotten to the point now where I'm just like, I don't even care anymore. As much as I love Disney, I just emotionally cannot wrap my brain around wondering any longer, are we gonna be able to go? And my husband would have to ask for time off work, but we don't want him to ask off until we know for sure, because then he would have wasted vacation time if we didn't go. Well, then now also that he has COVID, he's having to be off work for 2 weeks. Well, right around the time he'd be getting back from his COVID quarantine would be right around the time we'd have to be leaving to go to Disney. Well, they're not gonna want him to be gone for 2 weeks with quarantine and then turn around and go another week and a half at Disney. Like, so many things were just not falling into place. And it had gotten to be such a fight and a struggle. It just wasn't worth the time and effort anymore. And also plus the fact that, you know, here it is November and I don't think they're gonna lift the mask mandate here in the next few weeks, if even the next year, I don't know. So it was just easier to cancel it, get our money back. Thank goodness Disney has a very forgiving cancellation policy right now. You can cancel up to the day of your trip. But I thought, you know, even if we were wanting to go, like, what would happen if one of us got COVID at the last minute? What if we went through all the trouble to ask off of his work and pack everything? You know, packing's a big deal. Get everything ready and then realize at the last minute we can't go. You know, it's just, there's too many what ifs, there was too many variables, and it was just too exhausting to keep worrying about it and thinking about it and trying to plan around all these scenarios. It was just easier to cancel it. So sad as that makes me, that this will be the first year in 8 years that we haven't been to Disney every single year, which I realize that's no sob story. I'm not trying to make you feel sorry for me, I'm just saying. We go to Disney every year. It's a big part of our life. It's a big part of our year. It's the highlight of my year. And this will be the first year that we haven't gone in a long time. So we'll see what unfolds for next year. I probably will make a reservation for May here in the next few weeks, just because May is when we usually go. I don't really know that that's gonna happen either necessarily, but you know how Disney is. You kind of have to start planning ahead a lot earlier. So I don't mind to go ahead and make one for May, that's fine. I'm just kind of not getting my hopes up right now. The last thing that has been something different I've been doing is sleeping with my cell phone completely out of my bedroom. A lot of people say, well, you know, put it across the other room or, you know, something like that. I don't even keep my cell phone on at night, I turn it off. But I didn't like having it in my bedroom because as soon as I wake up every morning when my phone was in my room, the first thing I did was grab my phone, turn it on, see what was going on, what emails did I miss, check Instagram, you know, do this and that. And I was like, I was spending way too much time first thing in the morning on my phone. Which, first of all, when I wake up, I'm not an early riser, so I need to anymore. I've kind of cut back on that. I used to get up really early. Now I've been sleeping in a little bit, just kind of the state of life that we're in. And I'm like, if I sleep in, which is already a luxury, and then I lay in bed for another 30, 45 minutes on my phone, that's just ridiculous. It's a bad habit. It's just not good to fill your brain with all that stuff first thing in the morning. And I know myself enough to know that putting it across the room is not gonna keep me from just getting it and then going back and laying down. So I just completely have been leaving it out of my room. I charge it in my office. It stays there, just downstairs. So I have found myself spending a lot less time on my phone because I don't have it with me in the morning. And that really has helped. And so if you find yourself in the same situation where you feel like maybe you're on your phone too much, maybe you wonder and think a little bit too much about what's going on Instagram or Facebook, especially right now with all the political junk, it's just exhausting and overwhelming and can give you a lot of negative thoughts. It can really feed into anxiety, which I already do struggle with. And that's one thing I talked about in a recent video too. I've really been struggling with my anxiety the last few months. Which I didn't really touch on today, but that has been an issue, and I'm wondering if maybe being on my phone too much and seeing all this negativity all the time like that is just not good for me. So if you're feeling that same way and you're having those same struggles, I highly recommend don't just leave your phone across the room. Put it in a completely different room and turn it off at nighttime so you're not just on it first thing in the morning and on it right before you go to sleep. So that is my life update for right now. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. It's aplacetonest Becky on Instagram. I post on there quite often, and it's pretty much honestly the easiest way for you guys to reach out to me. Let me know in the comments what's up with you guys. Anything new, anything great that's happened, anything maybe not so great. Anything you want to share with me, definitely leave it in the comments. If you like this video and you want me to keep making life update videos every so often, please give this one a thumbs up so I'll know that you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. And also those gift guide videos that I filmed for Christmas, they will be up the week before Thanksgiving if all goes as planned. So there's 4 videos. What we got our 16-year-old for her Christmas tree gifts, what we got her for her stocking, those 2 videos. And then the next 2 videos are what we got our 10-year-old for her Christmas tree gifts, and the one after that is what we got our 10-year-old for her stocking. So those videos are coming up. If you need gift ideas, definitely check those out. And also, all of my other previous gift idea videos are linked for you in my gift idea playlist. There are tons of videos in there, which I've done. Every year, the Christmas ones I do their birthday ones, and I do what we gave our girls for Easter. So all those videos live in that playlist. So if you need some gift ideas, definitely head on over there. Some of my most popular videos of the year are my gift idea videos. So check those out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.